How's everyone doing tonight? What do we got here? Ugears Dream Cabriolet VM-05, day 22. Yeah, day 22. What can I tell you? Taking a while. Sorry I'm late. It's kind of a long story. I don't know if it's worth even mentioning, going into all the details. Hang on one second, okay? That's actually part of it. I set up really quick. I saw it was 11:59. I hit go live to go live before midnight. I wasn't fully set up. Yeah, there was going to be some special live stream for tonight. It was going to be outdoor. It was going to be on the road. It was going to be fun, but it kind of got rained out. So we're just going to do it a little, just normal. Put this model together. It's not so bad. That's what we do most of the time anyway. All right, let's look at this menu first. I've been doing like 5 of these per night. This new Brooklyn Italian Heroes opened on Annandale Road. My block. No one's encouraging and definitely not paying me to read these. I just find them interesting. So what's the last one we did? De Niro, I guess, if he's number 20. Why did I feel like we did De Niro earlier in the list? I guess he was the 20. I guess he was the last one yesterday. All right, so the next one is JRYE, prosciutto di Parma, fresh mozz, pesto sauce, olive oil, and black pepper. Oh, the next one isn't named after anyone. Have it. Why is it number 22? Have it your way, any way you want it, we make it. Depends on the prime rate. I guess it depends on, the ingredients. That was interesting, why it was number 22, to make it your way. 23, Ernest Borgnine, pepperoni, fresh mozz, roasted peppers, olive oil, and lettuce. Number 24, Jimmy Durante, bologna, white American cheese, ham, and mustard. Okay. The Louis Prima, hot gabagool, salami, pepperoni, Swiss provolone, stuffed peppers, and deli mustard. So a lot of these are, they say fresh mozzarella. Mozzarella, right? It's in the supermarket. It's usually like a square and a, shrink wrap or whatever. Not shrink wrap, but like some type of plastic wrap. That's mozzarella. Mozzarella is, they're saying here, fresh mozzarella or fresh mozz or fresh mozz or mozzarella, which is, mozzarella is, when you go to a deli, there's like a Chinese food container with like a circular piece of cheese with a puddle at the bottom. That's mozzarella, but it's spelled exactly the same as mozzarella, and the chemical composition is exactly the same as mozzarella. And often on these menus, you'll see, especially where I live, you'll see fresh mozzarella or fresh mozz, they'll say, or they might just say mozzarella. And it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like it's spelled the same. It's the same chemical composition. They don't say fresh mozzarella because that'd be redundant. They say fresh mozz or they say mozzarella. And it's just kind of a thing that, if you're from around here, and that's just how people kind of communicate. I don't think there's, Webster's going to define it. I don't know that you can tell it any way like that, but that's it. So you might hear me say fresh mozz. You might hear me say mozzarella. I don't think you'll hear me say mozzarella because I don't think that store is putting like paleo mozzarella on their sandwiches. Who knows? All right, well, I take this puzzle out of the box. Let's work on one of these science questions. Actually, this isn't much of a science question. How is this a random knowledge? What food should you buy if you want it to last a lifetime? Okay, so I guess they're looking for something that's not going to go bad. And the first thing that's popping into my mind, I'm sure it's not the only one, but is honey. I know, like, anytime you watch a documentary on the pyramids, they try to sell you on the idea that there was people buried with honey jars in the pyramids because honey would last forever. There's one video where the guy says, it comes out of the looking like a brick from ancient Egypt, but you pop it in the microwave and it's like honey again. I'm sure that that's not true, but let's just sort of take their word for it that honey will last forever. I mean, it's I'm not sure if the correct term is like antibiotic or whatever, but it's basically nothing's going to live in the honey. Therefore, nothing's going to make it go bad. Therefore, it's going to last, I want to say forever. Is that the way they worded it on the question? On the question, they worded it last a lifetime. All right, so honey is one guess. I think when you put the wax shield on the cheese, it will also last. Has anyone seen crackers go bad? I mean, I've seen 70-year-old crackers. I've seen people eat 70-year-old crackers. You can watch Steve 1989 MRE info. So there are other foods that can last a lifetime. I don't think honey is the only one, but they mention it in all the ancient Egyptian TV shows, all the pyramid TV shows, and that's a big... I guess psyop is a word that people use these days. I mean, I've heard non-conspiracy theorists use the word psyop, so I guess that's gotten into the main culture. I would just call it mainstream tropes. It's like they're never going to stop talking about the pyramids. That's just like something they're always going to talk about. And when they talk about it, it's like a 50-50 chance they're going to mention the honey is in the pyramids is still good. So let's go with honey. Honey, that's the answer. Honey, it can be thousands of years old, dating back to the days of the Egyptian pharaohs and still be edible. Now that's sweet. So we nailed that card. We know what the... I may not be part of the mainstream, but I know I know what's in their notebook. And it's not that I care. I mean, let's say there's... different religions. There's like Christian and Muslim and Jewish and Hindu and Buddhist and atheist and scientism and 100 others that I don't remember. So, mainstream media, that's like a religion. You're just going to get the same playbook from them every single time. It's just a religion. What can I tell you? That's what it is. They'll tell you it's science because that's the way of proselytizing their religion, but it's a religion. Am I getting too controversial for model building? I'll try to stick to the model building. All right, let's go to page 44. Did we finish page 44? Because I tell you, it looks done to me. We got these two. Oh, I don't have it on the screen. Okay. All right, so I see on the scoreboard it says page 44. Here's page 44. It ends with the inspection of these two pieces, which we've inspected and they work. So I'm putting the counter to page 45. And let's see what's going on page 45. Looks like we're starting with something new. It's going to come from boards 6 and 7. And we're going to start with a little 4-piece construction here. 274s, 261, and 262. There's also a little graphic here. They're saying to wax the gear, which makes perfect sense. But they're also showing a toothpick. Are they like suggesting we use the toothpick to wax the gear? I'm not going to. I've got a little piece of wax here, and I think it'll do fine. I don't think I need the toothpick. Is there a toothpick in this construction? No, it's just 4 pieces. Oh, and by the way, it's 8 pieces because there's a times 2. So we have to do this 2 times. So we need 4 74s, two 261s, and 2 262s, and then we need to build this thing twice. So I'm going to put the counter, I'm going to advance that 8 numbers to 4 524. You know, since I just blasted the mainstream media, let me mention another thing which I just noticed because this YOLO box was updated today, and that's from China. It's just because I bash the American mainstream media, this should not be interpreted as another country is any better. In fact, this some like classic marketing here from this YOLO box. I mean, I'm happy with them, but I just I get this sense that their marketing, and I've seen this from other Chinese companies, is kind of like a marketing of I guess it's kind of like let's talk about another example first. Let's talk about drug dealers. Drug dealers, they give you the first hit for free and then they start charging, or they give you as much for free until you're hooked. And that could be, you could translate that directly to the medical pharma industry. But there's something similar to that. I know China is known for manufacturing, but in order to make money in manufacturing, you have to get people to use your products. And what I've noticed from Chinese manufacturing, and now this is not an anti-China statement, because every country, every corporation, they've all got their own marketing, and this is just theirs. I've noticed their sort of strategy is like bend over backwards in the beginning, like you're going to 100% do whatever the client wants, and then once you get sort of committed to the product, then it starts moving like piece by piece in the other direction, not the other direction, into, you can just call it upselling, but it's beyond upselling because it goes into the way influencers are used, the way subscriptions are done. It's like it's all, I'm not prepared with good examples, but basically you got to watch yourself. No matter who you're dealing with, you always got to watch yourself. There's like, if someone's trying to give you medicine, you got to watch yourself. If someone's trying to sell you technology, you got to watch yourself. And it's usually not going to be the things that are in the mainstream. Like, I think that the companies that buy the, so they buy the, buy is maybe not the right term. They put out their press. They put their face that they want you to see. And then, that's their marketing. That's their like straightforward marketing. And then there'll be like the negative things that you hear about that company. And there's this assumption that, the company put out the positive stuff and some other company put out the negative stuff. No. I mean, maybe, but if another company put out the negative stuff, they'd be risking getting sued. I think it's the more likely that the company itself puts out the negative stuff, because then they're sort of controlling the boundaries of the negative, and sometimes the negative is itself an upsell. Like one thing that famous software company is famous for is when their new release comes out, they act like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then when their next version comes out, they're telling you everything that was wrong with the previous version and making it like you're insane if you don't upgrade. So the thing that 2 years ago they told you was this amazing product that's going to solve every problem in your life, they're now telling you it's causing every problem and you're going to need to upgrade. What can I tell you? Every company does marketing. And you just have to decide for yourself. It's not necessarily bad. I mean, salesmen, they use it like a negative term, but like nowadays they'll use consultant or advisor or I don't know what's the, I'm not up to date on what the current term is, but I'll just tell you that 40 years ago, no one thought anything bad about calling a salesman. Like, it was like free consulting. You call the salesman, you hear what he pitches you, and you decide for yourself whether or not you need those things. I know it seems like I'm stalling here, but I just legit can't find the piece 262. I got to consult the instructions and see what board it's on. They highlight it, so you think I'd be able to find it. All right, I don't see it on 7. Okay, there it is. It's inside of one of the tires. I don't know how I didn't see that. All right, there it is right there, 262. All right, so that's it. So everybody does marketing. You got to decide for yourself whether you want the products. Oh, there's the 474s that we also need. Great. All right, we'll be building in a second, although we need to wax all the pieces first. I'm just curious what that... You know what? This is another part of what I didn't set up. That's the close-up camera, and that's camera 1, and the close-up camera is not zoomed in. So it looks just like camera 1 at this point. All right, let's zoom in a little bit. All right, and then when it's zoomed in, is it focused? I guess it is, because when I try to make changes, it gets worse. It's like at the eye doctor. Is it better like this or like that? So I guess that's it. I guess that's focused. All right. We got one more camera that looks at this stuff, but I don't know. This one, it's like, for some reason, it's always like where the instructions are. It's like exactly where my hands are. Maybe I need to go like a little lower with this. No, that didn't work. Higher. It doesn't go any higher. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I got to work on camera 3. It's, I can do this, but if I do this, then I remove the instructions. You're like seeing, it's actually not too bad. You're seeing in the background there my bed in a laundry bag, which is not something I want to broadcast. But I also don't want to have to turn off the instructions every time I go to camera 3. So maybe I'll only use camera 3 with the instructions in the corner. It's also kind of dark. So yeah, might have to. Basically, camera 3 needs some work. It's not perfect yet. And if you're listening to this on the podcast and you're thinking, why am I talking about cameras? I'll just remind you that the show is called Just Rest Your Eyes and that you're meant to fall asleep. So, but you know what? That's not fair to say, because it can be frustrating sometimes. I sometimes fall asleep listening to like 1980s NFL broadcasts, and usually it's okay. I'm like not paying attention. I fall asleep listening to the announcers, but sometimes they'll talk about something in the play, and they're like, "Look here and look at this and whatever," and the fact that I can't see. It does once in a while. It ends up being frustrating. Now, camera 1 is, how's that look tonight? Let's try that one with light. Better or worse with light? I think it's about the same with or without the light. All right, so we got to wax up all these pieces before we put them together. I also, if you saw the new thumbnail, it's like it has the Just Rest Your Eyes in the middle, and then it has the episode in the lower right, episode number, and then on the left is a guy sleeping and out of shape, and on the right is a guy like breaking through chains, and it's the same guy. And that art was done by Dodo Asmaro, who did also does the art on the Woman in the Mirror series that I have. Book series, children's book series. So Dodo did that. And the references I gave him, just as an example, not that that's why I did it, but it just coincidentally, it's similar to Thor in the MCU. There's like I think it's in Endgame, he's like fat and out of shape, but then in other ones, he's in good shape. So so basically it looks like fat Thor on the left, like sleeping wrapped in chains. And then on the right, it looks like ripped Thor, or maybe even stronger than Thor. And he's like breaking out of the chains. So I did that using that, as I said. All right, before I tell that story, let me just show what I'm doing here. So this piece, this is 262, and it's going to go into 74. There's little ridges on 74. I don't know if you can see them. I don't know where to put them so you can see them. It's like one side has a ridge and the other side, like two sides have a ridge and two sides don't. The two sides that don't line up, basically there's a line in the middle of 262, and then 74 has ridges, and the line which you see on the top and bottom lines up with the part that doesn't have the ridges. At least that's what they show in the instruction book. I've seen examples in the past where the instruction book wasn't accurate, but that's what they show. And then how far to push it in, it looks like they want to push it in so that it's flush on one side, and that's where this is. So this will be, even though I put it on first, it'll be like the front, and I'll stack the other pieces behind it. I don't know if there's an orientation on this gear. There probably is. I don't think that's a perfect square in the middle, so I'll just try one way, and if it doesn't work, I'll put it on the other way. So anyway, about that thing that Dodo did. So it's not meant to be anybody, although Thor was one of the references. But now that it's done, and I look at it, and maybe it's because it's showed up right around Easter time, and because I guess Thor just happens to have the same like hairdo and hair color as Jesus is, and I didn't really even intend for Dodo to, like, the person could have looked anything, like his hair didn't have to be long, but I guess he did it that way. So if you look at the new logo, it's interesting because it came out right around Easter time, and it's interesting. It's this guy sleeping with chains on him on one side, and then it's the logo for this show in the middle, and then on the other side he's like, so on the first side he's like fat and sleeping in the chains, and then on the other side he's ripped, breaking out of the chains. And personally, I think it's a good. I think it worked out. I think it's how it should be. I think that. I think that's what Christianity is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be. How were we talking about marketing before? Marketing is, in the best case scenario, it's showing the good and not the bad, or showing the good and controlling the bad. But in the worst case scenario, you're just outright deceiving people. And I wonder sometimes about Christianity, if people have tried to, let's say Christianity existed, there was something good about it. I mean, some people followed Jesus, and then some other people followed Jesus, and it started to take off. And then I think maybe it was Emperor Constantine. Does that sound right? Or something like that. Then he started to follow Christianity. That might have been the first. I mean, if he's a saint, then I shouldn't challenge it. But, that might have been one of the first times when some spin was put on the story. So a lot of times you'll see this online, like you go on Twitter or something like that, and you'll agree that someone's doing something insane. And you'll say, this person's doing something insane, there must be a law against that. Or maybe you cite the law against it. And then someone will reply to you like, oh, I thought you were a Christian. That's not very Christian-like. And this person who's typing this, they're not Christian-like at all. I mean, they could participate potentially, I don't know, as different people do or don't, but it could be potentially a person who has a rap sheet that's a mile long. So when they're telling you that's not very Christian-like, they're not being very Christian-like. They just want you to shut up. And they're using that, your own Christianity, against you because they want to cherry pick, let's say Jesus said when they hit one cheek, turn the other cheek. But in another example in the Bible, he took up a whip in one hand and a chain in the other, and he started dumping over tables and scattering people. And I think that Jesus' message wasn't let life stomp on you. I think if anything, Jesus was a leader of how do I say this without getting in trouble with the FBI, who we know is now currently against Christians? I think Jesus was a leader of the resistance, can we call it? In Star Wars, the resistance is good. When Trump was president, everyone posted on their Twitter that they were the resistance, and that was good. So I think I can say resistance and not be bad. But someone might want to twist that resistance and say, oh, resisting what? And try to make it sound anti-Semitic. And the answer to that is Jesus was Jewish during his lifetime. He was Jewish at the time of his death. His disciples and apostles and the followers were Jewish, and he was buried in Jewish rites, and he practiced Jewish law, and I don't think you possibly could be anti-Semitic by following Jesus. So don't let them. The bottom line is, there's people who want to exploit you. And, maybe they don't have anything against you, but they just the more people they enslave, the more money for them. It's just as simple as that. So I think people look for any reason to knock Christianity, not because, if they watch Jesus' story or if they read the teachings of Christians, they probably don't have a problem with it. I mean, it sounds nice, go to church, don't kill anybody, don't steal. I mean, it doesn't sound too bad. But at the same time, Christians have been a thorn in their side forever. People think that they made $1 billion. They should be able to run the world, or maybe it was, counted in a different way than dollars 1,000 years ago. But people think they've achieved the top status of, society and the top wealth, and that the slaves and peasants should do whatever they want, whether that's prostituting the slaves and peasants or breaking up their families or telling them who they can and can't marry or what they can and can't do and whether or not they can pray on Sunday. Basically they like to boss people around. And Christians, I think, have long reputation of not allowing that to happen to them. And I think that's the big crime. I think if there's any reason that the FBI is after Christians, I think it's a bad mark on the history of the FBI rather than the Christians. I think we're not doing anything wrong. I mean, what am I doing? Sitting here at midnight putting a model together? I mean, sure, they arrested Trump. They could arrest me. I mean, you can arrest anybody. You can indict a ham sandwich. That really means nothing. But you know whether you've done anything wrong. And anyone who looks at it knows whether you've done anything wrong. So even if they hire someone and tell them they've got to prosecute you and they're going to be fired if they don't, maybe they'll do it. But the person's still a human being. There's only so many psychopaths in the world, and those psychopaths might control billions, but 99.9% of people are not psychopaths, and even if they work for psychopaths, even if they pledge allegiance to psychopaths, they're just not going to do it, you know? That's like, the good people are the overwhelming majority, and you're in good hands. If you want to feel better, to say that God or a guardian angel is looking out for you, fine, that too. But really, nobody wants to do you any harm. Except the systems and the people who practice control of the systems. So don't let them control you. They can cry about it all they want, but, you know, it's your life, and you do whatever you want with it, as long as it's within the bounds of the law. All right, let's go back to the instructions for a second. They're showing the two pieces that you just saw me snap out. And now they're showing the two toothpicks going in the top, the smaller ones, and the two bigger ones going in the bottom. Now, here's some very specific instructions about how they go in. So it's like the longer one goes like halfway in. No, it goes in the middle. And then the shorter one, no, they both go halfway in, I think. I'm actually need a minute to study this. There's a caution at the top and there's a check at the bottom, but there's two different pieces, so I'm not really sure what they're trying to say there. Let's see if we can scroll forward and figure it out. If you scroll forward, they're working on something completely different. Yeah, here it is. So this, wow, every time I try to zoom, the page changes. All right, so this is 2. All right, this is 2. I'm not sure if I can zoom that. Last like 5 times I tried, we lost the page. Okay, there's 2. The next row restarts at 1. So this is it. So we're kind of on our own here to figure out how this goes. They want definitely the 3Z they want halfway through. But they don't show these two pieces here. They don't show them ever connecting. And I'm not sure that they do get connected. We might just build 2 of them. Let me see if I scroll far enough forward in the instructions, if they ever deal with the, like, when do they deal with these pieces? Okay, here they deal with them. So not on this page, but if you scroll a few pages forward to page 46, so it's actually the next page, they show them combining those pieces. So the 2 pieces that we built on page 45, they show them both getting added to another piece on page 46. Here's the important part. Both the big and the small go sort of halfway through. I think it's halfway through. They actually look like they're both sticking out the same amount, but it's not sticking to the other piece. So these 2 pieces are not going to get stuck together. They're both getting pins, but they're not getting stuck together. They're probably going to go on 2 different sides of the vehicle. I know I made like too much out of that, but I just didn't want to mess up. And I'm actually still not sure on the smaller pin if it goes all the way through or not. Let's do the bigger one first, because that's like more obvious what it's supposed to be. Okay. It's conceptually, we know what we're supposed to do, but it doesn't mean it's easy to do, because it's not easy to get it like partially through, not like all the way through. See, it's like it's partially through, but we need to get it like even, like halfway. And if I push on this, it's going to go flying. No, it didn't. Okay, there's halfway through. Now, the smaller one, that's going to be tricky. Does that go half? It looks like in the picture of the page forward that it goes even with the one on the bottom. Oh, you know what? I think the top one goes flush. You know what? I got a new understanding of the instructions. Let's go back to the instructions. Let's look at this picture. The red doesn't mean bad. The red just means caution. The green means correct. So I think what they're trying to say is, one is that the long pieces go halfway through in both cases, and the top pieces, they go flush to the back and mirror image. So if you look at that instruction that they're giving us, they're giving it on both sides. They're showing two sticks. And these two sticks, they're like pointing at each other. Look at the instructions and look at what I'm holding. So whether you do it this way or this way, the point is you create two sort of mirror images. Actually, I think they're holding it this way just because I think I see the saw teeth in the picture. I'm not really sure. But let's say I'm holding it this way. Then the second one should be here, and the top one flush in the mirror sort of image. I know I'm over-explaining that, but anyway, you got the point. All right, let's put the bottom one in. So as for decision-making on marketing or religion, because we're talking about both of those, I can't tell who's the bad guy. Like, there's a lot of things you can come up with. Some of them could be really scary. Some of them could be really crazy. But I think that you're never going to get confirmation in this life. So you just have to make your own decisions. Like, you just have to decide for yourself. Does this work or does this not? You can't go any further than that. I mean, if you actually catch someone in a crime, or even statistically, prove them to some millionth of a possibility, then yeah, go ahead and charge them with a crime. But it's not like you don't need to know who's messing with you to know how to avoid it. You just have to look at each situation individually. What are you doing? What is best for you? And just stick with that. And when I say best for you, that includes you, your family, your community, not infringing on anyone else's rights, all that stuff. But what you don't have to do is think oh, there's a trend, everyone's doing this, and I'm going to do it too. That's faulty. That's not going to work. Or you also don't have to think, oh, this person earned my trust, I'm now going to do everything they say. Because what? They're going to earn your trust 1 week and then they're going to exploit you for 50 years. I mean, you have to be on top of the actions you're making with your life and what effect they're going to have. Sorry if that sounds like a lot of work. I mean, that's what it takes to not be exploited. It's a pain in the ass. Yeah. I mean, you're like, I wish that people wouldn't bother each other, but they do. And I don't predict that they're going to stop anytime soon. So you got to watch out for yourself. All right. The next section, we need 265, 264, 266, and 267. So 264, 5, 6, and 7. Is that a 2 times? Do we need to do that twice? No, we have to do a mirror image. All right. So 264 and 268. Yeah, these are the 2 mirror images. And then we need 2 265s, 2 266s, and 2 267s. I think that's what they're looking for here. So we need to build this thing and then build its mirror image. It's a 4-piece thing, so that's 8 pieces. So we're going to increment the counter to 538. I don't know if you just heard that sound. Like all night, there's trucks. I think they're dumping gravel. I don't know if they're dumping or scooping, but that sound lasts so long. Like, and it has like, I don't know if you heard the sound. It sounds more like they're dumping the gravel. There's like this mountain of gravel at the end of my block, and these trucks come, and sometimes they take from the pile, and sometimes they dump. But just the way it sounds tonight, it sounds like a dump. Like a scoop would be like they would scoop it and they would lift it. This is like something dumps and it like slowly, like quiets down, like as you hear the gravel falling to the bottom. It's not a bad sound. It's fine by me. Though I don't like that they're constantly messing with it with all these big trucks in our neighborhood, but it is what it is. I mean, every neighborhood has something, right? I mean, I'm not going to worry about it. There it is again. If you can hear it. All right, 265. There should be 2 265s. Here's 266, 267. All right, there's 265. Another 267. Where's the other 266? Anyway, I'll punch out these pieces. Let's pull out the next card. I feel like I was talking a lot of nonsense this episode. How strong is your stomach? What's this? They're doing personal questions? Or is this anybody's stomach? How strong is a human stomach? I don't know whether they're asking me personally or they're asking me as a representative of all humans. How strong is your stomach? There's the 2. Let me keep these in order so we don't mess up. So that's 265, 264, 268. 265, 266, 264, 268. So we need another 65, and we need 2 67s. All right, here's the 267s. I got them here. All right, so how strong is your stomach? Well, it's pretty strong against acid, right? Like, did you ever have like an acid burp? Has that ever happened to you? You're eating something or maybe you ate something half an hour ago and you burp. Sorry if that's gross, but you burp and some acid comes up. How does that feel? How does your mouth and throat feel after that? Well, that acid came from your stomach, and you probably didn't even notice it when it's in your stomach. So in terms of acid, the stomach is pretty strong. How about the ability for the stomach to stretch? Have you seen I think his name is Joey Chipwood, or maybe Jimmy Chipwood, or maybe that's the kid in Ugears. Joey Chestnut, does that sound right? Anyway, there's a guy who eats like 75 hot dogs in like 3 minutes. I'm assuming that's a true story, because if it's not and someone followed him and died, they'd probably be liable. But anyway, they'll show he drinks the hot dogs, the buns, and the water. He like drinks water while he's eating it. And It's pretty crazy. The amount of food that it is. Like, all right, let's talk about the stomach in a second. There's ink on this line. The 266 and 267, they go on the side with the ink. That's also how you can tell the mirror image one apart. So 266 goes in the higher slot. It goes here, like this. And then 267 is going to go there. All right, so the human stomach can hold, or at least one human stomach can hold 75 hot dogs with buns, with water. So that's some ability to stretch, I think. Because you physically, when the guy does it, and the other people in the contest as well, you like physically see their stomachs from the outside their bodies like growing. Like their stomachs look bigger when they're done eating the hot dogs. Like I'm talking about their outside stomach, you know, the skin, the fat, the ab muscles and everything. So somewhere inside of there is the actual like, you know, organ, the stomach organ. And if that's where the food's going, then that must be as well like growing, right? Stretching. So that takes some strength. By the way, where does this piece go? It goes in here, but where? Does it go through there? I got to think about that one. The instructions. The instructions say caution, make sure the ink's on the outside. And we have that. The ink is on the outside. But then there's a line for the 265 piece. But I don't really see where that line is going. The line seems to be coming out of this top part of 265. But I don't follow where it's going. Okay. Let's look at one after it's assembled. So that's what it looks like when it's assembled. And it looks like when it's assembled, it's at the very bottom. So it must be going out to the very bottom. Or do I have the 267 in the wrong place? Or is it going here and then this is coming out the bottom? That sounds right. Let's try that. That's it. I think that's what we got to do. So, all right. I'm trying to find an angle to show you this. So, there's the 267. Why is that so blurry? Okay, there's 267. And we're going to put 265 in the bottom. So, it kind of like goes in the bottom like this, and then the piece goes there. That's how it goes in. All right, now we just got to get it in there without breaking any of these pieces. This is definitely the type of piece that will break. I mean, look at this this 264. It's like this huge, like trapezoid shaped piece. And now I'm trying to push this into it. All right, I got it in, but you definitely want to be careful where you support that. You don't want to mess that up. Let me check that close-up camera again. I don't know. When I tried to hold something, now it looks clear. When I tried to hold there before, it looked blurry. I don't know. What can I tell you? All right, now we got to do the opposite side. So this one, so we need to do the mirror image of this piece. Well, there's the mirror image. I think this will be much easier than the first one. We know the pattern now that we need to do. We just need to do it. All right, so the stomach, it can stretch, it can hold acid. How about when you get punched in the stomach? I hear UFC, when someone gets a body shot, they describe it as a liver shot. That to me says that the liver feels more pain when punched than the stomach. I mean, they call it a liver shot. They don't call it a stomach shot. Not to say that you should start taking punches with the stomach. Okay, let's do this one. The old video of the fat guy getting hit in the stomach with a cannonball. There's an old black and white video of a guy getting hit in the stomach with the cannonball, and there's all these like ripples in his stomach after the cannonball hits him. And if you look into that guy's history, he was a circus performer, and I mean, that wasn't a one-time thing. That was part of his act. He gets shot in the stomach with a cannonball. So that's kind of the ab muscles, and the blubber, and all the little stabilizer muscles. They basically are strong enough to take a cannonball shot. Do not try this at home, but this one skilled professional who probably trains for decades to develop that skill, he can do it. So it can be done. All right, here's our two. Oh, how can I not get these on camera? All right, here's our two mirror images. I tell you, I'm having a lot of camera problems tonight. Anyway, there's our two mirror images. So we move on. Before we move on, let's see what the answer was. If you took the acid in your stomach and placed it on your skin, it would burn a hole through it. Good thing to keep in mind next time you toss your cookies. Okay. So stomachs are strong. The question was, how strong is your stomach? Do you feel like that answer lined up with the question? That's actually, I gave this 5 stars just because it's so much better for conversations than any other decks that I've worked with. But there's still a lot to be desired in the wording. But I also understand that to make a deck like this, you're doing a lot of work for almost no sales. And how much work can you really put into it? Like, it's not perfect, but I respect that they did it. Because even though I can recognize that the wording leaves much to be desired on many of those, I think it would take a lot of work to get the wording right. And who's going to do that work? And if someone did it, would anyone buy it? That's the big problem is, would anyone buy it? I mean, yeah, you could do a better deck. I could, fix a couple of questions as a demonstration. But if you did the whole deck, you would need several years salary to do that. And I don't think there's that much money in that deck. So probably not going to happen. All right. So these two pieces we made, these two symmetrical pieces, we have to now attach them to the Cabriolet. And we have to see where we attach them. So let's zoom in here. There's some little sticks on the ground here. Let's see here. Let's try again. All right, those little sticks there. They're going to attach on both sides of that. It shows like here, here, and here. Like that's where it's going to attach like in 3 places. I think that's what they're saying. Let's try it. So here, here, and here. Does that make sense? It does. There are, if you look at this, there are 1, 2, 3 little legs there, and there's also a little notch there, and the notch is probably going to go over, like this piece here. Probably the notch is going to fit in there. All right, so let's do this. All right, let's make sure we got the right piece. Okay. So the circle goes towards the side of the trunk. That means this is not the right piece for this side. So this side, well, now how could they both be wrong? Okay, now I was holding it upside down. All right, so this is the piece where the circle is on the side of the trunk. So this is going to go into one. Oh no, did I have these pieces wrong? Yeah, I told them wrong to you before. It's actually 1, 2, 3 pieces that it's going to connect to, not that middle one. I don't know what that middle one's for, other than to just say it's for later. It's not for right now. So here's our 1, 2, 3 pieces. They're going to go 1, 2, 3 holes, and our notch is going to go there. All right, let's see if we can do that. So far, nothing's attaching. I feel like that notch thing is pushing me back out. Let me get an angle where I can see that, what's going on there. All right, that looks like it's lined up. Now it just needs to actually go in. That sounded good. How are we doing on this side? So we got the notch in the middle in, but this outside is not yet cooperating. Come on. Is it lined up? All right, I took it off camera for a second so I can get a good look. And it was lined up, so I don't know why it's not going in. All right, it's kind of going in. It's not going in. It's lined up, but it's not going in. I just got to push. I just got to push and hope it goes in without breaking. So I'm supporting it from the bottom. I'm pushing from the top using the ruler piece. That sounded like it went in, but we still have this side to push in. Same thing. Push with the tool, support right underneath, right where it's going in. All right, let's try again. Wow, this piece does not want to go in. It's funny because there's a huge piece of plywood at the bottom. Like, look at the span on that plywood. You wouldn't expect that to be so strong. Like, the smaller piece should have the advantage against the bigger piece in this type of a situation, because the smaller pieces are stronger, like per square inch. But it's not going in. I could take it back out and sand it, but then I'd lose, the connections that I have made already. I don't want to do that either. All right. I don't know what's going on here. It doesn't want to go in. I'm just going to try the other side. But the other side, I'm going to sand them first and hope that it goes better. And if it does, maybe I'll pull the first one out and sand that. Well, I see I was off camera while I was sanding it, but don't worry, you didn't miss anything. It was just me sandpapering these pieces. All right, let's try to make this connection. I was sanding the little connector pieces so that they don't have splinters on them, and that hopefully they go in where they're supposed to. Well, There's a lot going on here. 3 connectors and a notch. And it's like harder than it looks to do. Alright, got that one in. But not the other side. And when I push the other side in, that side might come out. Let's see. Let's see what happens. All right. Well, it's not going in. On either side. But I'm pretty sure that we're doing it correctly. It just doesn't want, that piece of wood at the bottom is just really like strong. Doesn't want to accept these pieces. All right, I'm not going to worry about it. I see there's multiple other connectors, and I think it'll get stronger as more things get connected. I wish I could push these in further. Let me try the wrench, which, you know, might push it in all the way, might destroy it. I don't know. We'll find out together. Let's see here. All right, I think maybe grip it halfway up. Let's try that. That worked. Let's get the other side. Wow, that worked so well that I feel like I should have tried it sooner. Anyway, I guess we're good now. What's next? All right, that's the end of page 45, so we're now on page 46. Let's see here. All right, page 46. These things that we built on page 44, these 2 gears and these 2, I don't know, is it saw blade? Is it going to work on that gear? Are they going to go together? Because, you know, this gear fits in this saw blade. So probably one of, you know, probably the gear is going to move this. Maybe it's a window. Let's see. All right. So the piece that we just put on, it has this circle. That's where this goes, in the circle. And then this blade, sawtooth, it goes against it. But you gotta make sure you got the right piece. So the bottom piece is it sticks out on both sides. The top piece sticks out. The top piece sticks out on one side. So if you face the sawtooth to the gear, you want the piece sticking out towards the vehicle. And then the 2 toothpicks, they just go in that slot, that slit, whatever you want to call it. So basically now, when you turn this gear, this window goes up and down. It's not locked in yet, but it's something, you know. All right, let's see if this camera 3 can finally do something useful. All right, get some light in there. Somehow I doubt it. Let's see. Camera 3, here's your chance to shine. Let's see that window go up and down. All right, so when I spin the gear, the window goes up and down. Let me see if I can get a little further away from that gear so my finger's not blocking it. All right. Well, where'd the gear go? It fell out. All right. Let me demo this again after it's like fixed. Because the way it is now, it's like kind of sliding around. There's nothing locking the gear in. I'll just pull the window so you can see the gear move. Anyway, once I lock it in, this will be a better demonstration because it's like sliding all around right now. All right, let's see what the next instruction is. Hopefully it's going to lock that piece in. It is. Wow. 269 is going to get added on the inside of this gear. So this gear, the one that was falling out, it's going to get a piece added on the inside called 269. But more importantly, it's going to get this whole structure added on the outside. And that one I need a minute to think about how that's going to go. Well, the circle is going to go around that same gear. That same gear that we just added. Like, look at this slit. This is the same. It matches the slit that we just did there. So it's going to go like together. And then the 269 is going to go on the inside. And then I guess, where does this piece go? That's like a question. There is a piece in there that looks like that's where it goes. All right, let me go back to camera 3. So inside of that window, there's a little triangle, and that's probably where this piece goes. Little square, and it's probably where this piece goes. I know everything's flopping all over the place because it's not locked in yet. So let's try to get it locked in by lining that piece up. All right, so let's get the window back in there. This is circle. The circle is going to go on the outside of the gear, and then the rectangle is going to go in there. I think so anyway. Let's see if it works. There's more connectors on the back, which could potentially push this. Like, while I'm trying to make this work, they could be pushing away. Because look, here's one connector. There's 2 more. So we got to do 3 connections at once. And we also got to get the circle, the gear through the circle, and the toothpicks through the slit. So there's a lot going on here. You know what I think I want to do? Take this gear off and put it on this first. Doesn't that seem like that's going to be easier? Yes, that's definitely going to be easier. In fact, we can push it up to the top. All right, let's see if we can get this on. Here we go. I think I got it in. These back connectors are not in yet, but the front ones, I think I got. Back ones, I don't know. It's a lot of like little connector pieces here, and I feel like these little pieces, I feel like they could all go flying if I don't get this right. And if I get it right, then we're going to be in great shape. So let's hope for the good outcome. Something's happening. All right. What is this down here? All right. hear things snapping. Are they snapping into place or are they snapping apart? All right. It looks like not too bad there. I know it's not perfect, but we're working on it. I want to get 269 onto there before I take another look at that. So where is 269? What board is that on? It's on board 7, and we need 2 of them. So let's just add them right now. So we're up to 540. All right, board 7. This is board 6. This is board 7, and here's the 2 pieces. 269. 269s. They're just handles. They're handles for the make-believe person who will drive this car and sit in the back seat, actually. It's a handle for the back seat window. Actually, this door opens. It opens like backwards. If you can look at the construction of this vehicle, it's not going to open on this Ugears. So maybe it's not going to open in real life. But why would that handle be if it doesn't open? Like, obviously we know this one opens. This one is the back seat, and it has a handle, so I feel like it should open, but backwards. Like this one open frontward, this one open backwards. But as you can see, there's no bend here, so it's not going to open on this model. I'll have to look into the real car and see if it opens in real life. I think it kind of... What? I felt like it was on. You know what I think? I pushed it out. I felt like I was pushing it on, but I was actually pushing the wall out. And I just lost the piece. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. How are we going to support this? Yeah. Yep. Every time it feels like it's pushing in, it's actually pushing the whole wall out. And then I lose the piece. All right, so let's push the wall back in. I feel like we should have did this earlier before it was... All right, here we go. I found the spot. Back here, where this circle comes out, put a backstop back there, and then you should be able to get this on. All right, now it's on. Now, can we use this to raise and lower the window? It's not moving, I'll tell you right now. I see the saw teeth, I see the gear. Am I supposed to turn it? Yeah, you're supposed to turn it. All right, so I'm turning this thing here. All right, let's go back to camera 3 like we said we would. All right, so I'm holding the handle inside, and I'm turning it. And when I turn it, this rear window goes up and down. All right. Can you see that in there? Let me try to turn that. Watch the window while I turn this gear. All right, you saw the window, right? So you turn the gear, the window goes up and down. Hooray! All right, so we did that. Okay. So I guess now we have to do the same thing on the other side. Mirror image. Yep. The other 269, the other window, the other gear. Yep. All that stuff. All right, so let's do it. We know what needs to be done. We just got to do it. I think I'm going to put the 269 on first on the other side. There's no reason to wait. In fact, things will fall apart less if we put it on right away. So it's on. And now we put the window on. Saw teeth line up. And now, all right, now we lock it in with this piece. So we're going to line up this circle with this circle, this toothpick with this slit, and 1, 2, 3 connectors. Let me just flip it upside down. 1, 2, 3 connectors with the side of the vehicle. Last time we did the front first. I'm going to do the back first this time. I don't know if that's like better or worse idea, but let's just try it that way. All right. It didn't work. I'm going back to doing the front first. I have to get this circle lined up and this little connector lined up. Then once we do that, wow, that was nice. Now that's hooked up. Now this we just need to push in here. You can see it. No, you can't see it from underneath. You can't. There's the mechanism to pop the hood is there. You can't see. This side you can see from underneath. This side you can't because there's a mechanism to pop the hood. Anyway, let's get it in there. Come on. I mean, seriously, get in there. There's like nowhere else to go. Just go in there. It's again not going in. It's like nothing's happening tonight. Wow. Doesn't want to go in. Is there anything stopping it? Is this mechanism that pops the trunk getting in the way? All right, let's just try again. Nothing's breaking. That's good. It's just not going in. Oh, by the way, there's a little notch there. Remember that thing that pops the trunk? There it is. There's a little notch there for that. I mean, nothing bad is going to happen if we don't get this in, but it's like, why is it not going in? The front went in so well. As far as I can tell, it's lined up. But it's not happening. Right, I'm going to take a closer look here. Yeah, it wasn't lined up. All right, now it's lined up. Can't get it. All right. I'm going to use the close-up camera to try to line it up because I can't get it with either my eyes or my glasses. Maybe with the close-up camera I can tell what the hell's going on. Let me pull back a little bit. All right, let's see here. So there's the pieces. And there's little holes in there that need to go in. And we got to get the pieces lined up with the little holes. And then they should go in. But I can't see in there. All right. I'm going to grab some light from my phone. Maybe that'll help. What do you think? Can you see in there? Wow. Come on. I can see my phone on camera. I can't see in there. We can't see from the bottom because of the thing that pops the hood. I'm just going to push as hard as I can and hope that it clicks. All right, well, you know what? Maybe tomorrow we're going to try first thing to push that in further, and maybe it's going to work. I know that sounds like a lame answer, but sometimes that I've seen that before. I don't know if the wood like stretches because it's like sitting in there overnight, but I've seen it before where it doesn't work and then the next day it works like perfectly. So we're going to hope for that result, because it's certainly not going in tonight. Yeah, not happening. One more look without the glasses. Close one eye. That is definitely lined up. It's lined up. I'm telling you, it's lined up. All right, let's try it. Let's push it. No. All is going to happen if I push any harder, all this wood is going to snap. That's the only thing that's going to happen. I'm not doing it. All right, let's finish this page. There's like, I'm not even sure what this is. A fire extinguisher and a medical kit. Yeah, those sound like good things. All right, so what are we going to do? Put those in the trunk or something? Where are we putting those? I'm not sure what I'm looking at here. In the back seat? Behind the back seat? Yeah, on the back wall here. On the back wall of the car. On the back seat. Behind the back seat. There's probably going to be a back seat here. Behind the back seat, we're going to add a fire extinguisher and a medical kit. So that should be pretty easy. Let's get that done. So we need 4 toothpicks and then the 2 pieces. So that'll bring us to 546. That'll bring us to page 47. Let's just get this done. All right, those pieces are on board 6. And then we need the toothpicks. All right, board 6. There we go. There's the fire extinguisher and there's the medical kit. Is the camera 2 off tonight? I feel like it used to reach further towards the front of the desk. Today I got to push everything to the back. All right. There's the 2 things. Now the toothpick. We need 4 pieces. 2Z size. All 2Z size. That should be easy enough to do. All right. Let's do this. One. Whoops. 2. 3. 4. Something was off there. All right, 4. Okay. All right. Let's pop these babies in. Bring them to flush with the front of the The front being the inked side, obviously. One. Oh, you know what? The vehicle is in one piece right now, and it's still going to be after we add these fire extinguisher and medical kit. So that's cool, right? Basically, we're going to end the show with the vehicle in one piece. I mean, not counting the pieces we haven't popped out of the board yet. All right. Whoops, that didn't work. I'm just trying to get these pieces flush. Whoops, that went beyond flush. All right, now they're flush. Now we attach them. So you can see the pinholes there. Like, there's two of them in a line. That's where this is going to go. And then there's two of them like slanted. And that's where this is going to go. What's going on here? All right, that's on for the next piece. Oh my goodness. Last piece of the night. Let's see if we can get it on. All right, that looks lined up. I should probably get this other piece behind it as a backstop. Otherwise, these toothpicks might just shoot out. All right. Is that lined up or what? I felt the bottom one go in. Top one might need a little something. All right, it's in. That's all in. All right. There's the medical kit. There's the fire extinguisher. So we're done for the night. We've got our car back in one piece. The trunk and the rear fins are on. We've got the engine in the front. We've got dashboard, steering wheel. We've even got fire extinguisher, medical kit. We don't have any tires yet. We don't have a hood yet. We don't have a roof yet. But I think that stuff is going to be easier. I think it'll start going quicker from here on. It better, because we still have 30 pages left. And if it doesn't start going quicker, then it's going to take 40 days to do this puzzle, which would be insane. So I think it's going to speed up. Anyway, that's it for tonight. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.